Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're taking you straight from the butcher counter all the way to your plate. We're going to break down expert chef fundamentals and those modern meat nerd hacks to completely demystify the entire journey of cooking the perfect steak. Okay, so let's just dive right in with the ultimate question, the one that totally intimidates so many home cooks when they're standing right in front of a sizzling cast iron pan. What actually is the secret to a restaurant-quality steak? Look, it's so easy to get overwhelmed by all the conflicting advice out there, right? But mastering this craft, it really just comes down to a few core scientific principles. And honestly, a little bit of patience.
And our mindset for today is perfectly captured by professional chef Frank Proto. He says, "It's a steak, not a balloon." I love that. Basically, don't stress about poking it, don't panic when it hits the heat, and seriously, don't obsess over perfectly moving it around. Just relax, respect the ingredients, and let the science do its thing.
So here is our step-by-step masterclass roadmap for today. We're going to cover choosing the perfect cut, prep where, spoiler alert, moisture is the enemy, the searing strategy, butter basting and temps, and finally, resting and slicing.
Starting off with Section 1, choosing the perfect cut. Finding that ideal steak actually starts with your eyes at the grocery store, way before you ever even think about turning on a stove.
Now, the absolutely crucial point here is that fat equals flavor, which brings us to the whole concept of marbling. Marbling is just those little white specks of fat distributed internally right inside the red muscle. And as the steak cooks, that internal fat renders and literally melts, bathing the muscle fibers in these rich, beefy juices. So more marbling directly equals a way more tender and massively flavorful bite.
Now, there's this really fascinating contrast between the expensive, fancy cuts you might buy to, impress a date, and the incredibly flavorful daily eats that just punch way above their weight class. Fancy cuts, your ribeyes, your fillets, they have built-in tenderness. They're pretty much foolproof. But man, they are expensive. On the flip side, your daily eats like skirt, picanha, and Denver steaks, they come from harder-working muscles, so they are insanely beefy and super affordable. You just need to know how to slice them correctly, which, don't worry, we're going to cover later.
And when you're actually picking your meat, you can totally use the grading system to your advantage. The golden rule here? Ignore the name on the package and just use your eyes. You can constantly find choice-graded steaks that secretly have prime-level marbling, but for a massive discount. So always scan the meat counter and pick the steak with the best fat flex, totally regardless of what the label says.
Moving into Section 2, prep. Remember, moisture is the enemy. Armed with our perfect cut, this preparation phase is where patience becomes your absolute greatest tool. Expert chefs completely banish table salt from their steak prep. And honestly, for very good reason. Table salt has tiny granules. It absorbs way too fast, disappears on the surface, and makes it incredibly easy to accidentally oversalt your meat. Nobody wants that. What you actually want is a heavily applied, totally visible blanket of kosher salt. Those larger granules allow for an even distribution that efficiently pulls moisture to the surface, which is exactly what we need to build that amazing crust.
And that brings us to a literal game changer, dry brining. This technique completely transforms the texture of your meat. By heavily salting the steak and leaving it on an elevated wire rack in the fridge for a few hours, the salt initially draws moisture out, but then the dry environment of the fridge evaporates that moisture away. The result? You get a deeply seasoned interior and a bone-dry exterior.
If you take one thing away today, remember this rule above all else. Moisture is the absolute enemy of a great crust. If your steak is wet when it hits the hot pan, that water has to evaporate before any browning can even start. Basically, the steak is going to steam itself instead of sear, and that completely ruins your chances of getting that gorgeous, salty, golden brown crust. So always pat it dry. All right, Section 3, the searing strategy. It's time to master the crust. We've reached the climax of our journey here, applying high heat to our beautifully dry-brined masterpiece. For thick cuts, anything over 1.5 inches, we're going to employ the Reverse Sear Method. This brilliantly solves the classic problem of an undercooked center and a burnt exterior. Step 1 gently brings the internal temp up to 125 degrees in a low-heat oven. Then, Step 2 is a lightning-fast sear in a ripping hot skillet. This guarantees an absolutely perfect edge-to-edge medium rare on the inside and a blazing crust on the outside.
Now conversely, for thinner steaks, your game plan shifts completely. You have to prioritize an ultra-hot cast iron pan to build that crust before the inside overcooks. Use a high smoke point oil like avocado oil,
Wait for the pan to start smoking, and once the meat is in, apply a weight to ensure even contact. And here's the surprising part. Flip it frequently. Doing this builds a fantastic crust while keeping the internal cook totally even.
Moving right along to section 4, butter basting and temps. As the crust finishes forming in the pan, it is time to elevate the flavor profile and lock in your perfect doneness.
Okay, real quick, never add butter at the start of your sear, or it'll just burn pitch black and taste super bitter. Instead, wait until the very end, lower the heat, and toss in butter, some smashed garlic, and fresh thyme. Then tilt the pan towards you and rapidly bathe the steak in that foamy, aromatic brown butter. This doesn't just infuse the meat with absolutely incredible flavor, the hot fat actually strengthens and evens out your crust if you have any bald spots. But achieving perfection really demands precision. Please, let's ditch the scam of the thumb poke test, okay? Every cut feels different. Do yourself a favor, invest in an instant read meat thermometer, and use these specific pull temperatures instead. 110 degrees for rare, 120 for medium rare, and 130 for medium. You'll probably notice how much lower these are than those wildly overcooked USDA recommendations.
And that brings us to a super crucial phenomenon that explains exactly why you have to pull the steak off the heat earlier than your target temp. It's called carryover cooking. Basically, because of the residual heat trapped inside, the meat continues to travel inward, raising the internal temperature by another 5 to 10 degrees while it just sits on your counter. So if you pull it at your target temperature, it's going to be overcooked by the time you actually eat it.
Which leads us to our final step, section 5, resting and slicing. The intense heat is over, but to claim your reward, you've got to master this final delicate phase.
Look, if you pull a hot steak off the stove and cut it immediately, you are going to flood your cutting board with juices and end up eating a pretty dry piece of meat. Don't do it. Instead, rest the steak for 5 to 7 minutes on an elevated wire rack. This gives those hot, bubbling juices time to redistribute and relax right back into the muscle fibers. Plus, using a wire rack ensures air flows underneath so your bottom crust stays perfectly crispy instead of turning soggy on a flat plate.
Then, when you finally slice, especially with those intensely beefy daily eats like skirt or flank steak, cutting perpendicularly against the muscle fibers is the absolute secret to chewing tender meat rather than, well, rubber bands. Just look at the grain, turn your knife 90 degrees, and slice it thin. Make sure you use a cutting board with a juice groove to keep your whole station clean, and hey, always finish that beautiful presentation with a pinch of coarse, flaky sea salt for a perfect final textural crunch. So with these structured expert techniques in your arsenal, you are officially ready to turn any cut of beef into an absolute culinary triumph. We've journeyed all the way from spotting the perfect marbling at the store to the satisfying crunch of a beautifully seared steak. The only question left is, now that you hold the secret to restaurant-quality steak, will you ever settle for an overpriced steakhouse again? Seriously, which cut are you going to conquer tonight? Thanks for learning with us, and we'll catch you on the next explainer.